loves Hopper and 11. He's missing a daughter and she's missing a father.
Camera!
Their relationship is a very complex one. That's where the real strength of the show is. The one thing I suggested to David was, even if 11 doesn't see it, I wanted to see Hopper's pride in her.
You're just like, yeah, it. Like, destroy those bad guys.
In this Billboard battle scene in episode 3, we have Hopper and 11 showing up at this very mysterious wall.
We went through a lot of different looks on the wall. At its earliest conception, there was thought, like, should the wall have a look of like the gate, so like an orangey, emissive light, or should it just be really mucusy and liquid-like? We ended up on something that had sort of like this meaty, kind of bulbous texture. So it's sort of towing that line in between, is this thing a creature or is it actually something that's innate?
It's huge. It goes as far as the eye can see, and our characters have to really interact with it. So we gave a model to the art department so that they could sculpt a big enough piece for the actors to be able to walk on and touch.
It was our first outing showing off a really big, beautifully finished piece of sculpture.
That wall is like, what, 40 feet high? I mean, it was insane.
On our side, we took over all of the pulsating life and the slime and the slithering vines.
It just had to be disgusting, right? Something you didn't want to touch, let alone try and hack through.
For the Billboard battle, what we really wanted to do when we were talking through with our writers is to make 11 not be able to save the day.
Camera!
When 11 is feeling the effects of the sonic weapon, we go into kind of this shaking camera mode. We were looking for a way to get into Elle's head and visually communicate the kind of intensity of what she's going through.
She can't just hold out her hands, and we really wanted it to look like this is a situation that they're not going to be able to get out of.
You know, struggle number one was, how are they going to be able to hide? How are they going to be able to survive this at all when 11 is down for the count? That was when we came up with this idea for using a billboard, which was also very cool because we were able to set up turnbows. I think actually that was our production designer, Chris's idea, which we ended up loving.
We knew that we're introducing this new character, Derek Turnbow, and we wanted to subtly hint at the backstory of his family. We knew that there was going to be some gunfire through the billboard, essentially. Frank was like, oh, maybe Hopper's shooting out of the mouth of this character. And we were like, great. And it ended up being super fun.
Oh, hey!
It's a dark brown billboard in a dark environment, so if we didn't have a light coming through the billboard, you would barely see the holes. So we used the headlights from the Humvees, and then the addition of smoke also helps you see that ray of light.
All in all, I think we were right around 2,000 hits. How do you make that many hits go off so they don't do anything to the actors? We played with a lot of different things, and we eventually ended up using bulletin board material. The billboard itself was made out of plywood. It just looked like the whole thing was being shredded.
Camera! Fantastic! Got it! Thank you! Beautiful!
It was the first scene we had with Frank. I had never met him before this series, but I love his movies. He was just so generous to me. I think it was just that he loves Hopper so much. It's one of the reasons why he wanted to direct it. It's just to see what this character would do.
Cover up! Cover up!
Base Alpha 1, we're taking enemy fire. Need back up and air cover now.
What's really fun about Alex is that he and David Harbour had history in New York as actors, so they were reunited on this set. Their chemistry is great because the characters they play are such alpha dogs, and that's something that I really wanted to tune into.
Look at how enormous I am. Look at that beard. That costume's cool though, isn't it?
Harbour looks like something out of a John Carpenter movie. It looks like Escape from New York meets The Thing meets something else, but in typical Stranger Things fashion, it looks wildly original just on its own terms anyway.
The inspiration was truly like function over fashion. We're following these actors into these crawls that we know they've done at least 37 times. I think at this point, David would have found something that works for him that's treated like armor without being in military clothing. And he has gloves and a beanie that could have maybe been taken from the military when he's down in the Upside Down.
We wrote out the rough beats, but then we let Frank and our stunt coordinators really figure out the details behind it. Frank added the grenade moment with Hopper. That was not actually in the initial script.
I wanted to give Hopper a moment of thinking that he's completely out of options and he's lost and that this is the end now. I wanted to give him those grenades as a Hail Mary pass.
You come to the scene, you have certain ideas, and then you have this moment that the director makes a meal of, which you didn't really expect. Like, I didn't really expect that to be a meal when I read it. But then he comes over and he's like, we're gonna push in, it's gonna be a big thing. And then you're like, okay, I haven't prepared for this. And you just sit there and you have like, whatever, they're setting up the shot. You got like 25 minutes and it's just so fun. It's like, that to me is the most fun part of our job. You know, that's where you feel like an actual baseball player or you feel like a tennis player. You're like, this is what I'm built to do, is to like craft this second long moment as I know that camera's coming in of decision making and of like deep feeling around her. And so it really takes a good director to know that you can do that, to give you that space to do it and to make that thing a meal.
Especially when it comes to things like gun battles and grenade explosions, SFX and stunts really do a lot of the base level work. Taking all of those pieces that are laid practically and then building on them is one of the best things that we can do in the collaborative process.
We had the same flash powder they used back in the Wild West when you see the guy do the poof with his old frame camera. Visual effects comes in and takes that little core of a flash and expands it, makes it into something more visually interesting.
A lot of our stuff is all hand pulls, and our core team are standing at the top of 12-foot ladders jumping. Timing is crucial. Everything has to hit.
Everything. Making sure everybody is on the same page. Make sure camera knows what the count is. Make sure your performers know. Make sure my guys on wires know, so that everybody knows, okay, we're going on go.
Yeah, we were discussing 11 gestures here, and I thought it was really sweet that Millie came to me and was asking me what I thought they should be. I said, hey, you've been doing this since you were 10 years old. You tell me. You know, there's not that much you need to tell an actor about their character if they've been playing it for 10 years. You know, they know these characters inside and out. The one thing I suggested to David at the end of this scene was, even if 11 doesn't see it, I wanted to see Hopper's pride in her.
Hopper's had such an interesting relationship with 11 and her powers throughout the whole series. He's tried to get her to stop them. In season 2, it was all about like, you can't have a little girl running around like crushing people's heads. So it's fun to have these moments where you're just like, yeah, it. Like, destroy those bad guys. Everybody loves Hopper and 11. He's missing a daughter and she's missing a father. And I think it's been a dynamic that in the series has been so important and so vital ever since the first season when Hopper left Eggos in the box for her. We're very close, Millie and I. We've been through a lot together. We've been doing this show for 10 years. I can't even parse out what's me and what's Hopper's overprotectiveness around her. They start to blend in and meld together.
Hopper and Eleven's relationship is a very complex one. And just finding those little levels of this, that, and the other in their scenes is such a pleasure. I want to get into Hopper's head and I want to get into Eleven's head, and I really want to experience hanging out with these characters and going through those emotional ups and downs with them. That's where the real strength of the show is.